Today we're going to channel a little bit of summer fun. We are going to partially install the factory Husqvarna mulch kit, and instead of their kind of wimpy blades, we're going to put on a set of GATOR mulching blades. Should be fun. Stand by. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mrs. RATTLECAN'S house. I am James and we are in the shop today, and we are going to do some work on our lawn tractor. And what we're doing specifically is we are going to convert it from a side discharge mower into a mulching unit. That way it chews up the grass clippings into a much finer grind, as it were, and that way our lawn looks a little bit better. I hate the whole idea of bagging grass and filling up a landfill with it, and I also hate my yard looking like a hayfield. So hopefully we're going to solve both of those problems. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to elevate this. We've disconnected the battery, so we're not going to accidentally start this thing. One of the first things that we're going to do is more so along the lines of maintenance. I purchased this mower used, and so I'm going to inherit, whatever issues it had. And one of those things that it has is a really significant buildup of old grass on the underside of the deck. So we're going to get a putty knife out and we're going to attempt to clean this up and get all of this stuff off of here. If we were going faster than about 4 miles an hour, I'd be considered about something called parasitic drag, but really I just want to get that off of there because I don't want I just don't want the continued presence of moisture up on the underside of that deck. So you can see this dry stuff was up from on top of the deck, and all of this crusty cow pie looking stuff was down underneath the deck in a big thick mat like that. So this was the easier of the two sides because we have access through the discharge chute. The other side is a little more fun just because you don't have that access to go through. So you just have to get down on the belly and crawl down under there and get that. And then what we're going to do is we'll get the air hose out and we'll try to spray as much of that dry air out of there, because this stuff gets underneath these covers and it'll get in these. It'll get in your pulleys, and then you're trying to drag your belt as well as all of this dried crusty grass through there, and more than likely help to wear your belt out prematurely. And I don't imagine that's any fun to replace, so I'd rather keep it in good running order as long as I can. Probably work even better if we twisted it the correct way. There we go. We're going to note that as this comes off, this big fat washer is on the bottom of the blade. The blade comes off, and then you can see right here this little star-shaped spindle, which will fit into the star-shaped punch out on our blade. So let's take this old blade and compare it up to our new blade. So there's a bit of difference here, as you can see. The cutting surface is different. This back side, or the lift surface, is different. This is almost like little wings that's going to generate quite a bit of vortex in order to keep those clippings aloft and cut them up over and over and over again. So we're going to try to get these. I have got my gloves on now just because, not so much because of the grass cutting edge, but because the tines, the upturned tines on these blades, the edges of those are pretty darn sharp. So we're just going to fit the star pattern on there and put the bolts in, making sure that we've got the washers on the bottom side of the blade, and with any luck this will go fairly smoothly. Knock, knock, knock. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to show up or not. My instructions and my manual, they don't say anything about lining the blades up or anything like that. But I have noticed that I can put this on the spline so that this is 90 degrees out of phase with this one. So if they're point to point here, this one turns 90 degrees, and now I'm on point with this one. Now, of course, that's the opposite end of rotation, because they're going to rotate like this. I think I'd much rather it be that far away, but that's just me. What do I know? Yeah, I think that's how I'd rather it be. Let's see if we can. I don't know if we're going to be able to get all three of them. Maybe so. So it looks like they're machined so that they're going to miss each other anyways. But I think I'd rather have them out of whack like that, as far away from each other as they can be. It must not be a big deal because the manual didn't say anything about it. So anyways, we got that part done. Remember these nuts. Check your manual for the correct specifications on what it's supposed to be on your machine as far as torque values. My torque wrench has apparently decided to take a walk in the park, as with lots of our stuff over the years. So now let's put this silly cover on, or try to put this silly cover on. This is the part of what we want. A little bag of parts. This might be fun because this looks like it's held on by bungee cords. Here, let's go over here. I've done the pre-assembly on this mulch plate, mulch deflector, mulch cover. It depends on who you talk to and what paperwork you look at as to what they're calling it. It's basically a bolt that comes up through here, a flat washer, a lock washer, and what they're calling a weld nut. So we'll tighten that up. And then it has these well, what are they calling these things? Latch hooks. Depending on your model, you may have to install this latch hook. Words are hard. Latch hook spacer assembly. The instructions that I have are different because I can't physically get to that location because my plate is actually welded to the deck right there. But see that hole right there? Someone has already kindly installed an area for a latch hook spacer on my mower already. So let's go look at that. All right, let's go ahead and put this cover on. Now I'm going to go ahead and hook this around this, I don't know what you're going to call it, a standoff or whatever. I'm going to do that first, and then that'll give me a little bit of leverage to get this tab into this slot. And then you just kind of put some weight behind this, stretch it out, and it'll clip in that hole. And that keeps that nice and tight. So now your clippings are just going to be continually recirculated underneath here and chopped up into little teeny tiny pieces. So anyways, we are now going to listen to a big loud obnoxious truck go by. You know, now is probably a really good time to clean off the terminals on our battery. For some reason our battery doesn't really like to stay connected. We just continually get goo on the terminal, so we'll clean both the terminals off. Just take a wire brush after it. I think I've got some dielectric grease around here too that we could put on there. Maybe that would help prevent that. Anyways, we're going to get that going. We'll get it off the ramps and we'll see what she does. So there we go. As you probably noticed, and at least I tried to capture on video, there is quite a bit of wind that now comes out from underneath that deck, and to the point where I think, at least until we get a lot of this old thatch up and mulched into the ground, probably gonna have to be wearing a mask or something, because it gets kind of overwhelming. And as you can see, just from, I don't know, I've probably mowed it 10 minutes, we're already getting the paint off, the protective coating off of those blades, and that's just grass, because I've not run over anything. So anyways, there you go. That's the installation of this particular model was the MK48A. mulch kit onto the YTH 2348 Husqvarna lawn tractor. If you got any comments, make sure you put them below in the below the sermon notes. I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyways, hope you guys have a great weekend. Cheers.
If you enjoyed watching this episode of Mrs. Rattlecan's House, consider checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and to get the latest updates on our progress, like us on Facebook. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Absolutely should have some wine.